All right.
Welcome.
Welcome to the Stash Box. We're going to get right into it. I want to talk about Taste Buds. Their new gummy. It has CBC, CBG, and THC. Not a lot of THC, but 5 milligrams of each of the CBC and CBG. And for work, like when I'm at work, it's perfect. CBG, I don't know why it helps with anxiety and stuff for me. Looked into the CBC, and it kind of helps with supposedly brain growth and brain activity and supposedly nerve stuff, like the connection to the brain to the nerves, and it can kind of calm the nerves a little bit. So for people with MS, I would think this gummy specifically would actually be pretty decent with the CBG, because I had a customer at Starbuds. She thoroughly loved CBG to help with nerve pain and stuff. And you had something to add about these.
Yeah, these, and not just the CBG Taste Buds ones, but like the whole line of the new Taste Buds that have been coming out now, because they used to be in like bottles. Now they're in these aluminum cans. But a lot of them, if you look in the back, it actually says what strain it has. And it says what kind it is. Like if it's like distillate or rosin or resin. This one happens to be live rosin.
Nice.
Which is very clean.
Yeah.
It says on the bottom, the only solvent used is water.
Oh, nice.
So it's going to be a nice clean high. But yeah, I also looked up too recently, like, because I had a customer, that had fallen on the ice, and apparently CBG too, as well as CBD, is good for pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think a lot of cannabinoids are good for pain.
I think so
They
too.
have
Like CBD, like some people
those kind
say.
of qualities. So yeah,
And
I really like this brand.
the fact that it also is gelato, that's nice too. Gelato is a really nice, relaxing strain, and it can actually help with pain a little bit. A lot of strains, I would tell people, in the industry, it's not going to help with your pain. It might get your mind off the pain, but gelato is one of those. It gives you such a nice body high that it does kind of help with the pain a little bit. So this is just a great mix, and like I said, for at work, I can feel it. I feel like I talk better, social anxiety wise, completely just on top of my game, confidence wise. And it's not just a trick of the mind, a placebo effect, because I forget a lot of times that I take the gummy and then I start feeling good, and then I start, just feeling like I'm conversating better and stuff. So, and I'm like, oh yeah, I took that gummy this morning. So I really do think they're very effective. A lot of people dog on anything that doesn't have a lot of THC in it because they feel like, oh, I'm not getting high off of it. But honestly, cannabinoids, like he said, can help a lot with pain, and I think brain stuff too, like thinking straight, seizures, like epilepsy. That's what I could get into. A good example of how THC or maybe indica strains can help with epilepsy is I helped this lady at work. She has a dog, was having 6 seizures a day, was almost going blind and stuff because it was having so many seizures. Super sad. Doctor gave her some prescription drugs to put the dog on. She decided not to do that because she heard me talking to another one of my co-workers about THC and epilepsy, and she wanted to give pet tinctures a try. And these pet tinctures that he has at his shop have just 1 milligram of THC and a decent amount of CBD, but just that little bit of THC I really think hypes up that CBD, because you can give your dog CBD and it might make them feel good. It might help with the joint pain and stuff, but if you give them just that tiny bit of THC, it activates that CBD to do so much more for your body. And so I think it helps with epilepsy, because from what one epileptic told me when I was in the industry is it kind of smooths out that bump. Like epilepsies happen or seizures happen because there's something in the brain that skips, basically. Like if you have a record and it's like skipping, that's kind of what your brain does. It gets stuck on something almost, like, and it can't get over that hump. And so what indica or what certain cannabinoids do is smooth that out to where it's not skipping. Your brain isn't fucking hitting that bump and that smoothness that's supposed to occur in your brain. So anyways, I gave her some tincture, helped with her dog, so much so he has not had a seizure since. She just is going to try and stay stocked on tinctures and stuff, and just give her dog that from now on. And she says she hasn't given him the prescription drugs because the tincture is just working so well. Like, if he's not having seizures, there's no reason to give him the prescription drugs. And so, in saying that, I do feel like that is the war between, the pharmacies and weed, is that this shit, and even certain mushrooms like turkey tail and stuff, can help with cancers, epilepsy, nerve pain, damage, mental problems, shit like that. Now, it's a cure-all, I'm not saying that, but it helps more than some of these prescription drugs that they're trying to push on you and get you addicted to for years. So,
maybe with less side effects, too.
Much less,
Sometimes.
I would say.
And the key difference, too, is like a lot of these natural plant-based benefits or plant-based alternatives are cheaper.
Yes.
They're less cost.
Yeah.
And that's a big deal with what you were getting into with the whole war on the pharmaceutical industry versus plant-based medicine.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. I mean, it's obvious. Most people they see it, that the pharmacies are the main reason why we don't have certain things when it comes to cannabinoids and THC research and legalization, is because, they really try to push that we don't need it, that we need the pills and stuff that the doctors say are good for you.
The science.
But I can say, as a victim of pill addiction, not me myself, but of my mom, she's dead now because of pills. If she would have been able to smoke weed, I honestly don't know if she would be, because she was too afraid to smoke weed because it was illegal in the state that I was living in and she was living in, and she was going through a divorce, and she was too afraid, if THC pops up on a pee test, she loses my brothers. But yet she was a mess on pills, bro. She would pass out on pills. She'd be fucking... Because different doctors, they weren't even checking in. They were just fucking prescribing her shit, and she didn't know. Like, she was just fucking taking this shit, and, it's too much, and they're too dangerous. That doesn't happen with weed. You don't go to different dispensaries and, smoke different strains and then overdose on just because you mix the wrong shit. That happens with doctor shit, though, all the time. Two different doctors prescribe someone different shit, and they're not supposed to take it together, and they fucking didn't consult with each other, and fucking big accident happens. But again, weed, gummies, I took I don't know how many milligrams the other night, enough where I thought I was gonna die, but guess what? I didn't. If it was pills or something, I would have. But I woke up feeling fantastic the next morning because it was just THC, and it eventually fucking died down. It's scary to take too much THC for sure. And I've only done it maybe once or twice, but again, I didn't die. I didn't go to the hospital. I freaked out for a second and maybe cried a little bit.
Yeah, it's definitely not as dangerous as a fentanyl overdose.
Oh, yeah.
Opiate overdose.
Just look at that, bro. The fentanyl.
You stop breathing.
That's a prescription drug, and people are all over. We know about it. We know all these people are dying from it, but yet people are still taking this shit because a doctor told you, take this. I don't know, man. We didn't have fentanyl however many years ago, so why the fuck do we need it now? Why are we... Weed we've had for I don't know how many thousands of years, and it's still pretty efficient.
Yeah. And why does the FDA keep approving more opiates that are stronger than the previous ones?
Yeah.
They've already approved stronger opiates than fentanyl. Dilara, look it up, Dilara, that's stronger than fentanyl. We don't need it. Fentanyl's already strong enough.
It's already killed so many people, bro. That's crazy. So yeah, I mean, again, people will believe what they want to believe. I'm not trying to sway people's opinion, be advocates about weed. Just chill out about it. Let us smoke it and stuff, and stop calling us names or just thinking we're lazy and that this is bad, the devil's lettuce and all that shit. Just fucking let it go. 'Cause now I see a lot of old people, and I mean, he does all the time too, in the weed shops coming in, wanting to try this shit because it might help with their pain, and just, they're old. Let them smoke some weed. I don't know.
Let them enjoy themselves.
Yeah. They don't have much time left, so not destroying any careers by any means. So, I don't know, and same with just in general, young people. I mean, him and I, we're really good hard workers. We're knowledgeable. We read books and documentaries and are good citizens in society, and we're constantly high and stoned. So, I don't know. You can see that from a lot of people, Snoop Dogg and Tommy Chong, and all these really successful people who smoke weed their whole life. And I don't know how we haven't just based a lot of this shit off of even those people. Like, why are we still judging so much on weed? Someone smells weed in public and they still fucking get so offended by it. And it's like, what? I get more offended by, like, booze smell.
Or cigarette smell.
Yeah, cigarette smells nasty for sure. So I just mean intoxication wise too. Like, there's other things to be worried about smell wise than just a stoner. Like, they're not going to harm you by any means. I know people get offended by my smell a lot, and I do it on purpose. I blow it in my shirt sometimes to offend you people. Like, I know it offends people, so I fucking just blow in my shirt because get the fuck over it. So, but that's mostly what I wanted to get into. I'm glad we kind of got into some shit I didn't expect us to. So, yeah, like I said, look in the cannabinoids. They're awesome. He just real quick or whatever wants to show some stuff
too. This is like, I guess, what a lot of dabbers consider like the holy grail of dabs. It's just isolate THCA crystals, which is basically it's freebase. So it's just almost 100% pure to where it's like a crystal form, and you still have to heat it up to activate the THC, but it basically looks like a powder kind of. You can kind of see it. It's kind of strange looking.
Yeah, because I've seen them like almost dust, like those crystals.
Yeah,
like
some of them very.
That one also looks like bubble hash.
I think some of them like grind it down more. Because I've seen it to where it's like shards, like diamond crystals, nice. Like what you're saying. But yeah, like this one here is 93%. I mean, like, you're isolating it so much, so you think with the high percentage that it's going to be like, oh shit, this is going to be the best high ever. But I found that, like, if you mix it with some terpenes, or like some live resin with terpenes, mix that together, you're going to have the high percentage, the high THC, melding together with the terpenes, and you're going to get... You're going to feel really good.
That makes sense now, because I've noticed with the crystals, as much as I love them, and like, you know, I used to smoke them a lot when I worked at Kansas City from Live Infusion. I don't know if you've ever tried theirs, but they had just straight up crystals. But like the high was so much different. It was like not what I wanted sometimes. It was like, yeah, I'm high, but
it's almost like
because of the
cleaner.
terpenes. It's because it's missing the terpenes. I didn't think about that because it doesn't have terpenes in it.
Yeah, it's like...
And that shows
missing something.
How much the terpenes affect your high. Mm-hmm. Because I didn't feel like stoned on it. I like the shit that hit my eyes and feel certain ways, but that's different than even a concentrate high, because it's just the pure THC crystals. You also don't get that rocketing high either that you do off a dab, like that instant fucked up high. That's kind of like more of a creeper, like a smooth high. Like you said, it's very clean high, but again, you're missing the terpenes and all that stuff.
Yeah, and when I say clean, I don't mean like in necessarily like it's better. Mm-hmm. It's just, it's missing something. It's missing the full spectrum, the terpenes. And I've noticed, like, I guess now they're starting to show this little dot. That's the serving size.
Which, honestly, it is good for the government to take precautions and tell you, and cover their ass and be like, yo, we told them, only take that much, but they wanted to do bigger ones. Because if it does turn out that these chemicals in some of these dabs do cause cancer and down the line and stuff, it might fall back on the government and be like, yo, you legalize this shit, but they can take these precautions and be like, well, we told them. So I get it. It is, I think, good, especially if you're a beginner, to definitely take a dab that big. I don't really ever dab, but if I do, they're a lot bigger than that. I don't know why. I mean, you see just the bowls I smoke. Like, one hit for me is a whole bowl. Like, one hit is like 4 or 5 for him. So, like, it really depends.
Asthma.
Yes, and that's what I was about to say. It really depends on your lungs, who you are, how you smoke. But yes, for a beginner and for an average person, this is probably perfect. I take probably too big a rip, so I'm gonna have a heart attack or lung cancer someday because all the fucking smoke I take in. But again, it really depends on who you are and just however much you feel like you need to cover up pain. Like me, man, I've been hit by cars. I have emotional and whatever, traumatic pain. I have just everything, physical, mental, all that shit. So I smoke a lot, and it keeps me very evened out and a happy, go-getting person. If I don't smoke, it's not because of like I need weed, but if I don't smoke, I can go about my day, but I'm just like an asshole. Like, I'm a dick if I'm not high. Like, and it's not because I'm addicted to weed, it's purely because of all the shit I have to deal with when it comes to pain and, again, emotional PTSD, all that kind of shit. I'm a fucking asshole. But weed makes me enjoy life, forget about that shit that, the past maybe wants to bring me down, but I fucking forget about that shit. I fucking smoke up and I go have fun and stuff. So that's another thing you gotta understand. Some people smoke way more than other people because they have so much pain and baggage that they're dealing with and shit. So, I don't know.
Everyone's a different case.
Yeah, I think that's one reason I can consume as much as I do, because I have so much shit, I'm trying to cover up for the most part.
I did notice too, like they put the same size dot on the 96% isolate is like the 60% shit. So I guess that helps.
Yeah.
Because like if you're a beginner and you take this size of a dot of the isolate, it's gonna fuck you up more than like a 50%.
50%, yeah. That's true. Or a glob of hash or
There's
whatever.
still some work to go, I guess.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's the government doing this shit, and they don't know it. And that's what I didn't like about working in the industry for a corporation, because I learned all my shit on the streets, like weed-wise and stuff. And so when I got into the corporate gig, they didn't see things the way I did. I saw everything street mentality, and even math-wise, and how weed should be dealt and, respected even. Street mentality, but they had such a corporate mentality and such a pushing it on people, and wanting to treat it almost like alcohol, like that those commercials you see for alcohol trying to push this shit, and just they put such a sour taste on the weed game that I had to step out the game, because like I just didn't see eye to eye with a lot of these corporate people and how they push weed. And so I don't know what I was getting at with that. I'm so stoned, but we just did our Into the Looking Glass, and we smoked like a few joints or whatever, and so I'm pretty baked. I keep rambling because I keep wanting to get to a point, and then I forget what I was even getting at, and it's whatever.
I've been there.
I don't care. I'm done.
It's been a good stash box, though.
It was
informational, educational.
It was. This was actually more solid than I expected it to be.
Not many people know CBC even exists.
Exactly.
Or CBG for that.
That's why
I think it's just THC or CBD. We had one dude get mad at us because, like, he had it all backwards in his head that he thought that Delta 9 was the shit that you see, like, in Texas or Kansas. Like hemp. Mm-hmm. Hemp's the Delta 8,
Delta
THC.
8,
he had it backwards.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, there's lots of confusion.
There's a lot to learn. Deltas are weird. That's new to me even in the last year or two. I didn't know about Delta 8 till like maybe 2 years ago. And
now there's like Delta 10 and Delta 7.
That's crazy, bro.
Just loopholes to get through the legal barriers.
And that stuff's so dumb, because people even try making spice and stuff like synthetic weed. And like that stuff's horrible for you. So like, why do we keep trying to make these alternatives when weed is working just fine? Like, just legalize this shit and just smoke on that shit. And to each their own. Why do we give a shit? Like, some people disagree with me at work about this, but I think in Canada they have it, pretty legit, where they have facilities for people who want to come and do crack or meth or whatever, and they have doctors watching them and, make sure they're doing the right dosage, and then they do studies on it. So it's a win-win for both, because these people don't overdose or die, and they get to do it in a controlled area. But like, people at work think that's still like encouraging it. And they're like, no, I mean, that's still...
It's harm reduction.
But these people are still going to have those issues. People have such trauma and such things that they can't deal with, that they're going to turn to drugs. Unfortunately, we have people that just don't have the mental capacity to control their vices. And so we need these places just in case, so that we can try and help these people instead of just throw them in prison. And so people at work, they're making a big deal about how we're throwing people in prison for, drugs. But it's like, so you think that's wrong, but you don't think it's okay for them to, like, maybe go somewhere and do it? Like, where's the line? Where do we find...
There's still so much stigma.
Yeah.
It's not... there's no bad drug. It's just circumstance.
It is. And it's what they do on the drug. Meth is such a bad drug because of all of the horrible shit that people do on meth. And I don't think meth should exist, but if you could get it in a pure way and let people do it in a controlled area, and if they want to ruin their lives, let them, but just let them do it so that medical professionals can help and assist in research.
And doesn't affect anyone else.
Yes, exactly. Keep it away from the public, but people are gonna, disagree about such things.
I think that's very cool that you stated that right now, because I know you've seen in your past, like, the damages of certain drugs.
Yeah.
Like, you've seen other people that are, like, addicted to meth or crack.
I've been to
You've
prison
seen it more
for
than
doing
me.
stupid shit, yeah.
You've seen what it can do to people, and you're still saying that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I respect that.
Because I see the issues. I've been in the hood. I've dealt to, people that have mental issues, and they just need a high to get through their day, because if they don't have that high, I don't know what they would do. Like, they'd go kill someone or something. Like, there's people out there just trying to get day-to-day survive and shit, and we throw them in prison just because they got issues and mental problems and stuff, and it's super sad. But I also know people that are really dumb, and maybe they shouldn't have chances and they should go to prison. Like, just one random story about meth, and I don't know if this bitch, I don't know, but she did meth one time, and then she went and robbed a place, and then made terroristic threats, and, like, went on a run with the cops or whatever. The cops had to chase her and shit. She did all that shit in one night after taking, like, 2 hits of meth. And before that, she was a completely good girl. She didn't even, like, when I dated her, she didn't even like that I smoked weed and stuff. So, like, how does, like, it is crazy, some of these drugs, that you can take one hit or whatever and completely change your life in one fucking night, because weed doesn't do that. You don't take a hit of weed and be like, yo, I'm gonna rob this place, I'm gonna kill this nigga. But sometimes, I mean, if you're gangster, that's the thing, though, it's the mentality. Because gangsters smoke hella weed and still go do crazy ass shit, but they were planning on doing that shit anyways. People who smoke weed are good and innocent and then go do bad shit after smoking meth. It's like when you have preempted murder and then,
Premeditated.
And premeditated and shit like that. Yeah, you premeditate it, and then that makes it worse. But if you do it on the spot, spontaneously, because something happened to you, a mental state or whatever, it can be, shrugged aside sometime, or a lesser sentence because it wasn't premeditated. So that's what I mean. Like, meth makes you go do crazy shit on the spot. Weed, you're just going to do what you do on weed. For the most part, you're just going to sit and chill. It really doesn't make you do much. And it might even make gangsters fucking chill. I don't know, but rambling again. But, oh, you good?
Yeah.
I'm sorry I talked so much.
I think it's a good stash box.
Yeah, we're good. All right. Thanks if you watched. If not...
Bye.